Yeah, g'day guys. Just letting you know that on Monday we have got an outstanding double episode coming up with, legendary broadcaster Ray Hadley. He talks about his time in rugby league, his career, some of his great friends, and of course some of his feuds, plenty of those. But in the meantime, here's a little preview. One thing for you, Blakes, which I really appreciate, is that they would, as a team, you'd stick tight. Yeah. So if someone got into one of you blokes, you got into all of you. Yeah. And I remember there was an instance once. We played in 1999. We played Cronulla at home.
Right.
Now, what had happened, Ray, going to the game, Andrew, we lost an origin through the week, and Joey had a particularly poor game. Anyway, one of the selectors had tipped Chippy off and said, mate, Andrew's going to be dropped. Right. And he's right. So the paper runs it going into that game that day. Anyway, we go into the game, and Joey, in this game, has a blinder, ends up setting up about 4 or 5 tries and, really states his case to remain in the team. Anyway, I'm walking into the press conference with Warren Ryan, who actually hated Chippy.
And it was mutual, I can tell you. It was mutual.
It was mutual. And anyway, he said, hey, mate, do yourself a favour, stick up for your brother here. Now, I didn't know what had been on the back paper, and I certainly didn't know that Chippy wrote it. Yeah. All I was saying that the selectors had, were talking about dropping him. If they drop him, they're kidding.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, I said, Warren nudged me and said, time to defend your brother. And it was all about Chippy. And he goes, I said, there's all these reports going around about Andrew being dropped. Fair enough, if you saw him today, if anyone wants to drop Joey, mate, they just don't know what they're looking at. Well, as I walk out, Barry Tuigrasmu, who's a Newcastle journalist who knew Chippy very well, and he said, hey, listen, you want to be careful. He said, mate, Chippy's just taking that personal. And I said, well, no, tell Chippy, I'm not having a go at Chippy. I'm having a go. Anyway, it was too late. So for the next 6 months, every time I turned on the continuous call, all they were saying is, mate, seriously, Newcastle are a fantastic side, but they got to get a decent fucking 5'8".
Well, to that extent, you work now occasionally with Buzz, and look, I used to have a fair platform. I was working 7 days a week, right? I was doing the talk show Monday to Friday in the football, so I could square up with Buzz. I'm now legless. If he attacks me, I've got, unless this podcast, I can give him a serve, but I won't. But I noticed that Andrew's locked horns with Bulldog Ritchie this week.
Yeah, Jack checked last night.
Look, Andrew, you're fighting out of your weight division. I pissed myself. Bulldog's a mate of mine, but I've been riding rugby league for 36 years, and I'm into. Sake, Bulldog, drop off. You think Parramatta are legless under Jason Ryles? I disagree with you, by the way. I think Ryles will be a really good coach in the future, and I think he's done a pretty good job this year. Joey thinks like I do, and just because he happened to mention your name, mate, it's notoriety. It's notoriety. He said your name. He didn't say, Bullman Ritchie or get your name. He got your name right. So if you get your name right, it's a fairly large audience he's talking to on free to air. So just cop it. But Andrew is a character, Andrew.
Mate, I love about Bulldog. Someone asked me about Bulldog recently, and Bulldog will write these articles, fairly provocative articles on Parramatta. And they said, what was behind that? I said, you've got to understand about Bulldog, right? I said, when Bulldog wrote that story a number of years ago during the COVID years, this is the worst Queensland side ever, right? And they go on to win the series.
Yeah.
Well, that front page that Bulldog had written and been proven dramatically wrong, and all the Queensland's enemy, most people would get that front page and bury it in their backyard. Every time he is interviewed via Zoom, he sits in the camera and in the background. Not only has he got the front page, he went and got it fucking framed.
I did like. What was the headline, Jack? Of the Jack's got it. What's the headline of the article he wrote about Joey? It's like something you don't have to be an immortal or something.
No, don't need an immortal snapping at my heels.
That's right.
There's nothing. People in Melbourne don't understand that there's nothing like a rugby league blue.
And what you're about to listen to is, as you may have just learned, Bulldog Ritchie went after our Uncle Joey during the week, so we decided to play a little prank back on Bulldog. Enjoy.
Hey, mate.
Doggy boy.
What are you doing, Bolty boy?
Mate, I'm in the middle of a podcast with Joey. Now, I've got a bit of mail that you're going to unleash on 360 or something.
No, I'm not unleashing anybody.
Mate, you've got to drop off. He's an immortal. I know you've been captaining the game for 36 years, but you've got to drop
he's
off.
one of my favourite players of all time.
Well, mate, you wouldn't think so the way you wrote about him. That was a fucking disgrace what you said about him. Mate, he's a personal mate of mine. He's a personal friend of mine, okay?
So am I.
Well, I don't think so the way he's talking about you here.
Is he bagging me?
Well, I wouldn't say he's being very complimentary.
Okay. Well, mate, he attacked me first.
No, attacked you? Mate, he's an immortal. He's entitled to attack who he likes.
Well, aren't you entitled to an opinion?
Well, mate, yes, I am, but I wouldn't take on an immortal.
So am
Eh?
I. Oh, mate, you've attacked prime ministers before.
Yeah, they're not fucking immortal.
Uh,
No, look, I'd advise you
are you
on...
half taking the piss, or are you serious?
No, I'm serious. I'd advise you on 360 to drop off. Mate,
I'm not going to bag you on thrust. I've said him a bit.
well, you're not going to go on there, so you've shit yourself, eh?
You apologise to me.
Hang on, he's here. What'd you say, Joe?
It's all right. If he wants to apologise, sweet.
Are you going to apologise?
No, I'm not apologising.
Why not? It takes a big man, Bulldog, to step back from things. Okay, you've been doing it for 36 years. It won't be the first apology you've made.
Why doesn't he apologise to me for
Well-
calling me out on national television?
Well, mate...
No, that doesn't.
Well, hang on. He concedes. What do you want to do, Joe?
Yeah, I'll apologise.
He's apologized. Did you hear that?
Sorry, mate.
All right, well, then that's fine. I'm sorry too.
We got you, Bulldog.
Bulldog! That was Matty. By the way, you're on the podcast with Cooper, Jack and Matthew John. Bye-bye.
Could not have gone better.